Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel's Strike Force. Now, I did not get a chance to talk about this yesterday on Wednesday when this news came out regarding LILANDRA of the Shi'ar. Obviously, if you've been following this channel, then you would have known that this has already been coming because I leaked the Starjammers and the entire team. And so, for those of you who don't know who that is, because for whatever reason they did not actually give you the names of the characters aside from LILANDRA, and actually within the kit, again, you would have seen it if you watched my videos. Groot was mentioned in LILANDRA's kit, but just for clarity's sake, if somebody missed it, the other characters are Rocket Raccoon, of course, Rocket and Groot, right? Howard the Duck is going to be part of the anniversary celebrations for the game, and Havoc, of course, right? Havoc. So that's the Starjammers team, but they went a little bit further as to describe the purposes of LILANDRA as far as going towards Xavier. And I want to talk about that in today's video and talk about what the implications of this are. Also, I do want to talk about the clarifications that Pathfinder put out last night as well. At least as of recording this, it was like about Wednesday evening. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Well, nope, wrong one. There we go. So I do kind of want to talk about this Reddit post here that was made because it looks like they had to do some clarifications or backpedals or whatever you want to call it with regards to the four quadrant characters, right? And so what's really interesting is said that, a lot of the Envoy posts made it sound like you needed to have these four characters, but you don't. Seems like you only actually need hard required LILANDRA. It is say Pathfinder did say that it's recommended, I think, to have Old Man Logan, Odin, and the Shadow King will be powerful allies you can take to help in your fight. They will not be a requirement. So that's interesting. And now I don't know by hard requiring LILANDRA, it says LILANDRA is required, if that's kind of just a key for them saying that Starjammers is required without actually saying Starjammers as the team, because they haven't really announced the rest of the team. So I don't know if they're willing to say that yet. And that would make a little bit more sense if it's like some sort of trial where like this lane is like, okay, these nodes require Starjammers. Like that would kind of make sense to me. Hard requiring just LILANDRA is a little bit weird because if we take a look at what her traits are, it makes you wonder. Well, okay, if Old Man Logan, Odin, and Shadow King are not required, but they're recommended, what traits do they have in common that could give us some insight into the Xavier saga? Now that's the question too, right? Is Xavier going to be a saga, like an apocalypse saga, or is it going to be a Dark Dimension 9? I almost think based on what we've heard about like 60 nodes, I almost want to say it's going to be a saga. That's going to be an Xavier saga with like 6 chapters of 10 missions, and that's a total of 60 missions. And each of the missions are going to have specific traits, maybe required, or specific characters to go into them, and that's what we're going to see. I just don't think that we're going to see a 60 node dark dimension. I think that sounds a bit crazy because the dark dimensions are daily content where the characters reset daily, and I just don't see that happening on a scale of 60 nodes. They went as far as 26 for Pocket Dimension, and even that was pretty crazy. So we'll have to see, because obviously that's not confirmed yet. But that's just my initial thoughts, is that this is going to be more of a saga related, like permanent event structure that we'll see in the game. But we'll have to wait and see how that ends up folding out. Also, I do want to point out, we had a few comments on this actually, but Pathfinder said down there, you'll still be able to engage with the showcase. People are asking about LILANDRA, stuff like that. You'll still be able to engage with the showcases just like you can with any showcase. The LILANDRA release event will be a good event for players and will last for quite a while. Now, we do know that showcases tend to last for about like 2 months, I'm pretty sure. So I guess this might be decent. More details coming soon, of course, probably on the blog on Friday, right? And I believe, was that it from Pathfinder? So I do want to kind of pivot back to the blog post initially. First of all, I'm going to skip through the kit, right? So LILANDRA will be a requirement to recruit Professor Xavier. I am going to skip through all of this, but Hero Cosmic Skill Protector Starjammer. Okay, so in what world, I guess, would LILANDRA be hard required, but Odin would be recommended, or those other characters would be recommended? And that makes it sound like that there's going to be traits related to those characters where you could use other characters, but it's highly recommended that you use characters like Old Man Logan, who's obviously insanely powerful Shadow King and Odin. And so I guess as far as Odin goes, maybe it's like a Hero Cosmic lane. As far as I'm aware, all 5 of the Starjammers are Hero Cosmic. But if it is like Hero Cosmic as the requirement, then you'd probably fill in instead of Rocket, you would use like Odin, right? Like no brainer there. He is a Hero Cosmic character. Now the other characters like Shadow King and Old Man Logan, he's Hero Global. Shadow King is Villain Cosmic, right? And some other traits, of course. So I guess it depends on where in what situation would we still want to use these characters, but there are other options available. And that's why I think maybe it could be utilizing Dark Dimension esque kind of node requirements, but I just don't know if I see it being a Dark Dimension event, just because 60 nodes sounds like a hell of a lot of characters. Anyways, I'm going to skip through the kit because we've already seen that. I do have the Starjammers kits open once again because there's a few things that I want to talk about. There is some callouts. So TLDR, like Starjammers is going to be a very apex Cosmic Crucible team, to the point where I think that they should topple Illuminati Odin. Probably, honestly, would probably just topple just about everything, because when you look at the rest of the characters' kits, mechanically they counter almost everything. They counter speed up, they counter speed bar from Howard. I'm pretty sure they penalize barrier a crap ton. So this might be a very good team in battle, like the once a month we fight Null in Battle World. That's possible too. And there's lots of safeguard going out on this team from the other characters too. The most lackluster would be like Rocket because he had a very pretty weak rework on the level of like War Machine did for Liberty. But maybe that's all he needs, right? Maybe he just needs insane stats, and then his kit actually will just do a lot of damage. We'll have to wait and see about that one, though. So they talked about the Age of X of Lilandra, and specifically the release method of Lilandra. And I do want to kind of clarify this a little bit because a lot of people are saying, oh, she's going to be free. And I'm like, okay, sure. Yes and no. She will probably be available free to unlock at I guess they didn't specify, but I would assume it's 3-star. Maybe it won't be. But it says that she will not be available for purchase directly, but there is going to be a lot of indirect ways in order to get shards for her. There will be no core orb as well, so you can't like fast track this. Engagement by playing the game modes outlined below will be so this is really important because their definition of engagement is not necessarily just free to play engagement. I want to make that very clear that this also includes spending, right? There's no chance in hell that this is going to be an event where spending doesn't matter. Spending always matters in Marvel Strike Force more than ever because they need the revenue, because they're down in revenue. So they're absolutely going to try and gouge players to get them to spend on this, and you'll see how, right? So they're using a milestone. I guess you could say it's similar to like the Ares milestone, but in case this time it's for shards, right? So you're going to collect Mcron crystals, and that's going to give you shards for Lilandra, right? And where you're going to get these Mcron crystals, however, is going to be in these events down below. So she actually just says right there, she unlocks at 3 stars, and you can earn all the way up to 7, right? Free to play is not going to get 7. I highly, highly, highly doubt this. I would be very, very shocked if this is the case. Highly engaged by them does not necessarily mean free to play. This means whale stones. This means leaderboards. This means paying for the other Starjammers characters to unlock those showcase missions. That's what it really means. So mine Mcron crystals from events. Now I don't know what this means. Play Cosmic Crucible events. Maybe this is the leaderboards. Maybe this is weekly payouts. Maybe depending on your league rank, because largely that hasn't really mattered. And actually, I spoke about this in one of my last videos. Was that a lot of the gameplay just didn't matter because you weren't really getting any resources that really mattered. So maybe we'll get some Mcron crystals as weekly payouts for Cosmic Crucible. It does say events though, so I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some specific Crucible events that happen within the next 2 months because the Starjammer showcase, which is mentioned here, will last for 2 months. The Liberty one that we have right now literally lasts for 2 months. So that's what we might see here. And additional upcoming events. Honestly, that probably means your weekly meta events, I would assume. A mix between whale stones every week and then some leaderboards every 2 weeks, right? That's what we normally get. As far as the Starjammer showcase, though, it says details coming soon, but I have to imagine that this has to do with you spending or coring to unlock the other characters. So Howard the Duck and Havoc. and probably on the 3+ stars or maybe even 5+ star, however they decide to do it, you're going to get some Mcron crystals on those nodes, on the ones where you actually unlock the characters, not the story chapter 1, but the more paid, or once you unlock the characters, chapter 2. Probably like a one-time thing. I highly doubt it's a farm. It's just like you clear those nodes at X star levels and you get some Mcron crystals, and that'll give you some shards or milestone points towards shards for Lilandra. So that's kind of what I'm expecting there. So it's kind of like indirect spending, but not direct spending, because you can't actually buy her directly. You're buying you're buying other things to help you get shards for Lilandra, if that makes sense. And the red stars here, it says from the battle pass. Now, Ares was possible 7 red for free over 3 months, I think, by the end of that, essentially. Or maybe it was by like 5 of the passes. But anyways, you had to wait like 2-ish months in order to do that for Ares. Now, it only says right here, it says is from the battle pass. It sounds like just one of them. It also doesn't necessarily specify it's free to play, or that we don't know how many red stars we're going to get for Lilandra free to play. Is she going to be a dark promotion credit character? I mean, or at least in the future. We don't know that either, right? It's not confirmed either way. It sounds like she's not going to be in the red star orbs, so there is a chance that she's also a dark promotion credit character, right? So that's all we know so far. To obtain all of her red stars, make sure you complete all of the available I mean, like, maybe it might be free to play. I mean, but we don't really know at this point. So it's some interesting stuff. I wouldn't say it's a complete nothing burger, but the change about the information, and I think so that's probably the most important thing about Old Man Logan, Shadow King, and Odin not being hard required. Really, really important. But I got to imagine, like, they say that, but they're all really powerful characters, and so if they're not hard required, then who are we using, right? Odin's hero, cosmic, mystic, right? So you could just suppose that there's going to be like a hero cosmic lane. Maybe it's like two traits. I mean, I don't know, right? Normally, when they do trait breakdowns for characters, it's nothing more than 2 restrictions, right? Hero cosmic, in the case of Dark Dimension 8, or Cosmic X, or whatever, right? Could be Cosmic Mystic, but I don't think that she's skilled, right? She's skilled. So I don't know. Who knows? And as far as Shadow King goes, he's cosmic mutant villain. So maybe there could be a cosmic villain section, maybe. And then like hero global for Old Man Logan. Like, I'm really not sure, right? Obviously, what the traits are going to be for the missions or the nodes, whatever they happen to be, whether it's a saga style or a Dark Dimension saga style. I'd be interested to know in the comments down below, actually, which ones you guys would prefer. I'm not sure which ones I would prefer, because a 60 node Dark Dimension sounds like absolute hell. This super long. The pocket dimensions that were like 26 nodes were already super long. So I don't know if I really like the idea of a 60 node Dark Dimension. And part of me makes it sound like that's going to be a saga style. But that's just me. One other thing that I really wanted to point out, though, is if you are thinking about Starjammers in general. By the way, this is it was on my kit video that I leaked like a week or so ago. And Groot is the best character on the best rework on the team. Like, he's got shit tons of new stuff. It's absolutely crazy. Go watch the kit video. Groot is absolutely amazing. I just wanted to bring this up for those of you who kind of forgot this was a thing. If you're watching this video anyways, Rocket Raccoon got a little bit, but I mean, realistically, most of his damage related stuff hasn't changed. It's just a little bit better. So hopefully that's all good. And then, of course, we have Howard the Duck, and he's going to counter a lot of shit just because he does a lot of things. Like, you can, again, gonna really penalize barrier. Howard the Duck's coming. And we have Havoc coming, who is also going to have the X-Men tag as well. Also, I wasn't super clear because somebody asked me in the previous video, the kit video, for Lilandra. So Lilandra is going to summon Gladiator, right? Gladiator is mentioned in the text here. And the changes to Gladiator that's going to be coming is that Gladiator's text, where actually I can just bring him up because he's right here. So Gladiator's text that requires the other Annihilator characters to trigger this part here, the exposed and vulnerable, or the anti-exposed vulnerable, is going to have this added with Lilandra. So it's going to say if this character has Lilandra or 2 or more Annihilator allies. So essentially, if you want to add Gladiator onto the team, then he can activate this text. This might be for some plug and play outside of Crucible, because I think that in Crucible you still want to run the full team. I'm almost certain that there yeah, right here. I mean, if that's still there, it has 4 or more Starjammer allies. Enemies cannot gain speed up. That should be also in this version here. Yeah, this character is 4 or more Starjammer allies. So in Crucible, I don't know if you're going to be doing that, but maybe in Alliance War or some other places you could add Gladiator in there, or maybe not, right? Because actually, we heard with the changes to Alliance War that they're putting Annihilators as a 5-piece war defense team. So yeah, I don't know what the whole idea of sticking that text in there with Lilandra and Gladiator when there's not. Maybe they thought about that before they made these Alliance War changes. Because now that you're not going to be doing any theory crafting in Alliance War, at least with the Annihilators team, I have no idea why they actually did this at all. So who knows? I have no idea what Scopely's doing these days because things are just absolutely wild and also super boring at the same time. But anyways, that's it for me for this morning. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you excited for Xavier, or does this change, how you're approaching this event, especially with the relations to the characters that are required, or in this case, not required? That's the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.